All right. Today we have a member of the Papa Bear Hikes virtual tramily with us, and he has brought a friend with him who we're welcoming to the Papa Bear Hikes tramily. Stan the man, how you doing? And welcome back.
I am doing great.
You look great.
Oh, thank you. I've lost some weight, so my kids tell me. And I don't think a lot, though. Every time I get on the scale, it sets maybe 5 pounds difference than from when I got on the scale the first day I left. And I guess it's just shifting around. It went from the face and upper body to wherever. I don't know, but I really, I can see it in myself. Yeah, that my upper body is not where it was when I left to start the trail. For sure.
Stan, I've got to say the same thing I just said to Justin a week or so ago when I talked to him. The big thing I like seeing is the big smile you guys have on your face. The glow.
Yeah, well, having a great time right now, really. I mean, hey, the days are tough sometimes, and sometimes it just literally sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. This journey is harder than I expected. It really is. But it's joyful. It's a joyful type of, tough journey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now you have 2 hiking companions with you now that you didn't have when we spoke last.
Yep.
Tonya and Zobi. I'd like to welcome the 2 of you, not just to the podcast, but to the Papa Bear Hikes virtual tramily.
Thank you for the welcome.
And since we haven't had you on before, Tonya, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, my name is Tonya. My trail name is Monarch. And I, where do I begin? The first question that people always seem to ask you on the trail is, where are you from? And I like to answer that everywhere because I live in my RV. So about a year ago, I decided to sell everything and move into an RV and start traveling the country. I had never been out west, like west of the Mississippi at all. So I wanted to hike 14ers in Colorado and go to Glacier and Grand Teton and Yellowstone and everything. And so I was having a high old time doing all of that. And then my RV broke down and it needed a part. And the guy was like, well, it could be 6 days, 6 weeks, or 6 months. I don't know. It's sitting on a ship somewhere with this lovely shipping delay problem that we're having in the world right now. And I was like, well, then I'm going to go live on the AT for 6 months while we wait for it. So, and pretty much as soon as I decided that, the part came in. So my RV is in Georgia near Springer. And I'm still living on the AT with my best friend. Here. Hello. My name is
there
Zobi.
we go. And there's Zobi.
Yes. So Zobi is a 5-pound Maltese that everyone on the trail is like, that dog's not hiking to Maine, is he? I'm like, he sure is. And he's doing better than his mommy is. Dude scrambles like a boss, let me tell you.
He's good.
Yeah,
he really is.
He has impressed the heck out of every hiker out here. And seriously, he does better than us most days.
Yep.
So
Stan, you had mentioned that the trail is really hard. It's a hard thing to, and you were aware of that before you took it on, but at this point in your hike, you're halfway through Virginia, as you indicated before we started recording the interview. How are you feeling physically? Any injuries?
Oh yeah, I got a groin injury of like a pull in Hot Springs. And I think it was associated with a new pack that I got. Okay, and it was a heavy carry that day, and the pack was not sized correctly for me. When I went to leave out of Hot Springs, I noticed a twinge in my groin, and I was like, "Oh, that's not normal." And I started walking. I said it'd probably go away. Well, it didn't go away until maybe it's just gotten somewhat better within the last week. But it was
because it was just a couple days ago you were saying how bad it was.
Oh yeah, hurting. Like I'd get up in the morning and it'd be like a hot iron, like when I'd start to walk, and it was just, boy, it was tough. And then I would get moving and it'd be fine, and I would take a couple ibuprofens, and honestly, for a little bit I wondered if this was going to take me off the trail. And I said, this cannot take me off the trail. I'm going to walk through this thing if I have to. If even I have to put up with it all the way to Maine, I will. And at the same time that happened, I had gotten a new backpack because the Z-Packs Arc Zip, it just won the levels on it. When the low levels, nothing would stay. I'd have to adjust that pack, every hour on the hour. And it was so frustrating. So I got a new pack, a ULA Circuit. It was a good pack, but it was sized wrong for me. Oh, and it left a big, huge bed sore on my back. And that accompanied with the groin was like one of the worst weeks I ever had. But then I got into Damascus, and I hooked up with at Mount Rogers there, and met a guy named Jimmy. If you know Jimmy, he's got a YouTube channel and he's a trail angel, and he slack packed me all over the place.
His real trail name is Slackpack Stan.
Yeah, that's what it should be. I'm like, everybody's slack packing me, and I don't care if they want to slack pack me. I'm going to take it.
You want to slack pack?
Why not?
Me? Like,
I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest though with people and tell them that I'm slack packing. I'm not going out in pain to have it done. I'm just, I'm getting it offered, and I'm slack packing. So, anyway, so I got a new ULA Circuit backpack after that, which was my third pack, which is a small one. That's fitting great. Going to take me to Maine.
Great.
Yeah.
And Tonya, how about you? If physically, how have you been holding up?
I was absolutely great until around 19E, which is the end of North Carolina, where you're just in Tennessee heading into Damascus. It's right around mile 400. And around that point, I was like, my feet hurt more than normal, and was like, okay, I'll just take more ibuprofen because I'm doing more miles. My average miles per day has gone up. Long story short, by the time I actually met up with Stan, which was a little bit north of Grayson Highlands in Virginia, I had gone 16 straight days without a zero and was adding more miles each day. And I was like, I need a zero. I need to find out what's wrong with my feet because this pain isn't normal and it's not going away. So I have plantar fasciitis, and I have been doing basically everything that you can possibly do to help alleviate the pain. All kinds of exercises, foot massages. I have these lovely booty things on right now that pull your foot back and stretch the tendons. And I just got new shoes and new inserts. And it's crazy because one day I'll go 17, 18 miles and just feel a little bit of tingling sensation type of pain, but it's totally manageable and fine. And then the next day, we slack packed one day. We were 2 miles into a 20-mile slack pack, and the pain was unbearable. I was in tears on the trail. I couldn't walk, and managed to finish the 20 miles. Stan said a prayer for me on trail, and unbelievably was able to just finish without any pain, but it just comes and goes. So like Stan said with his groin pull, if this is something I have to deal with all the way to Katahdin, I will. If I have to crawl to Katahdin, I'm going to get there.
Well, I've spoken to Jake Aarons, and as I mentioned, I spoke to Justin just 2 weeks ago, and if it makes you feel any better, both of them have had physical issues that they've had to work through to get there. And it's quite possible that that's one of the issues, or maybe something that gets people from being among that statistic that gets off the trail and those people that make it. Now, people shouldn't make foolish choices. I mean, if you're hurt bad enough, you got a broken bone or something, get off the trail. But some injuries, it comes down to resting them. I think both Jake and Justin had injuries that they actually had to take an extra day or two just to rest them, but they pushed through it. They stayed focused.
Yeah, between zeros, slack packing, Epsom salt baths and massages and, various treatments, we're keeping it manageable to keep us on trail. I will pay money for anything that keeps me on trail. With the budget, we talk about that. We're not going to go spend stupid money, quote unquote, platinum blazing, but I will spend money on what keeps me on trail. So slack packing and getting a hostel instead of camping and carrying the weight, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, you're supposed to hike your own hike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with slack packing. There's
No.
sections of the AT that I've hiked where I've slack packed just because it was close
Yeah.
enough to home. Why would I carry the extra weight if I didn't need
Yeah.
to?
Right. And for me, like, and even for Stan, when he was dealing with his groin pull, like, it's getting that extra weight off of my feet that I can still get the miles in and I can still go hike. And so why not? You know, like the extra weight is hurting my feet, but I can still hike without it. So.
And I've had this conversation with people. I've had it with doctors. I've had it with successful through hikers, and listening to your body. And in this case, it was slack packing took that extra weight off and took enough weight off to allow you to keep hiking, but also to heal.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, Stan, you already mentioned one gear issue you had with your backpack. Any other gear issues?
No, that's been the major one. I had all of these ideas being a vlogger, right? That I spent extra money on this tripod that was a little heavier. And I said, I'm going to set up, my tripod every day and do walk-bys and interviews. And man, you just don't have time to do that. I'm like, I'm not back off, setting up my camera to walk by it, to put it back on.
Now we're each other's
tripods.
Now
we're like human tripods.
Yeah, like hold my phone so I can walk by it.
Yeah. But
thank you for saying that, because I just started my YouTube channel and I'm like, I'm just not getting enough footage, but I'm hiking with other people. I want to stop and say, hold on a second, guys, I need to set up here and get some footage for my YouTube channel. No, you want to hike, you want to keep going.
You do, but so I've just sent that home when my daughter came down. I sent home a week ago, and not even a week ago, but yeah, it's just extra weight that I'm carrying that I don't need to be carrying.
Right.
So I sent that home. I've been using my umbrella when it really rains hard.
I love my umbrella.
But I've been holding it. I don't like having it, connected to my body. I just don't like that.
Agreed.
So I hold it and I carry my trekking poles or put my trekking poles away, but that's only when it's really raining hard. Otherwise you get wet. You're going to get, if you put on your rain gear, right? And you wear that while you're hiking, you get hot and you just sweat underneath it. So now that the rain is warmer, you just use your umbrella and forget about the rain gear.
Yeah, I'm the same way when it comes to that. I bring an umbrella because, like you said, when you're moving that much, you're just going to overheat with that rain gear on.
Yeah.
You're going to get wet anyway. And the umbrella just makes it more pleasant, I think.
Yeah.
I was told by a couple of former through hikers, like, oh, that umbrella will be tossed before Georgia because it gets caught in the green tunnel and gets ripped to shreds. Well, I've used it a lot. I'm in Central Virginia and it hasn't gotten torn yet. So
right.
You just have to be careful with it. You see overhanging branches coming and pull it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a day or two I needed to use one in Vermont. And that's all I did. You just got to have a little bit of a heads up that, there's a branch there and I have an umbrella. I better duck or pull it down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I've had no real gear issues. So, but the backpack was,
your backpack was a big one.
Yeah. The backpack was huge. I'm on my third backpack, so that's huge.
No, mine was my tent actually.
Oh.
But I have to give a shout out to Nemo.
Okay.
I have a Nemo Hornet Elite.
That's what I use.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I've had no issues with the tent as far as like condensation or like dripping on me, like nothing like that. I love it. It's great. So if you want, the double wall, we've had debate over what's better, double wall or single wall, because he has the Z-Pax duplex.
Right.
But one night in Franklin, it was getting set up and it was supposed to rain that night. Of course, it was supposed to rain that night. And I pulled on the zipper of my rain fly and it broke. So with help of my travelingwithtonya, we got it pulled together with tape and gear repair tape and stuff to stay together that night. I called Nemo, they answered, they overnighted me a replacement rain fly that I got in Franklin the next day and didn't even have to get off trail.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. I had my tent poles, the elastic in it was overstretched. And I just contacted them. I was prepared to pay for it. I had the tent. I don't have the Elite. I have just the regular Hornet. I had owned it for 5 years. I was prepared to pay to have them do it. I sent it to them. They did it for free. All I paid for was the postage. Companies have to back up what they're selling you. That's the bottom line.
They just had me send my ripped one that they're going to repair and send back to me after my through hike. and I send them the
Wow.
replacement back. Yeah.
That
That's
is
pretty
so cool.
amazing.
It is. I love
But-
hearing that.
Other than, just my feet.
Yeah.
I've
We
had
can't replace those.
I was trying to find the right inserts to help, but other than that, no, I have no gear malfunctions.
Oh, that's great. And hopefully, Stan, you found the pack that's going to get you to Katana. You feeling comfortable with it at this point, though? You think you've dialed it in?
I'm totally happy with that
You
pack
should see the
now.
way this man flies up hills. I call him turbojet, seriously, because I swear he sees an uphill and he's like, boom, he goes faster and I go slower. I'm like, dude, where did he go? Like, he's gone.
I just, kind of dig in and go, like, where's the top? And it gets here quick.
I used to have a theory about going up the hills fast. You get more time to rest when you get up there. When the rest of the group's you're waiting for the rest of the group to catch up with you.
People like me.
That's great.
You mentioned some rain in Franklin. How's the weather been for you guys overall?
Terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say good.
That's a dangerous question, right? Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about politics or religion. We'll finish. We won't go past the weather.
The
This last
reason
week has been good. I think
Yeah.
that's what's fresh in your memory.
maybe there's been horrible times out there with the rain and the cold. Now, keep in mind, Tonya started 2
I
weeks
did.
before me, so that's
12 days.
12 days. So that comes into
He
play.
caught me and I started before him. So,
Yeah.
I have to say it was 12 days, not 2 weeks.
But
Well-
we both have the same experience that every major viewpoint
has been clear.
has been clear.
That's good. That's great to hear.
Spectacular, like iconic views
We've
we've
had.
had. Now, I will say my iconic views that I got in the Smokies were clear, thank God, because the Smokies are named Smokies for a reason.
Yeah.
However, it was 13 degrees while I had clear views in the Smokies. So I was shivering and freezing and 80-mile-per-hour winds, but I got views.
I had 80-mile-per-hour winds on Mount Camera, but and
That's in
some
the
views,
Smokies.
but I kind of almost enjoyed it because it kind of made for some neat footage on YouTube with the
With
the
all the
smoke
wind.
rise. Yeah, it was great, like the clouds coming up, and
No.
but it was kind of like dangerous because as I was hiking down from there, the roots of a tree were moving underneath my feet,
Yeah.
about ready to get ripped up. And I was like, oh man, that's kind of like, I better get out of here. But I never had 13-degree weather.
No, but you
I
had,
felt like
you
it.
must be forgetting about the 12 straight days of rain and snow leading into Easter.
Yes, that was horrible.
Easter Sunday was the first nice day we had after 12 straight days of snow and rain.
That is true. We
So,
did have some bad.
We had a
Days
early April snowstorm that was followed by literally rain every single day. The trail was just a river of mud and slippery. I called it a literal slip and slide.
Yeah, you would walk up and just slide back.
Just slide.
It was just
You had
and
to-
going downhill.
It was exhausting.
Yeah.
You had to think about every step because you slid with every step. You had to keep your balance.
Yeah.
My core got stronger, I swear. I'm like having to keep my balance and not fall. And yeah, I had my worst fall during that time too. Nothing like broken or whatever, but like my whole left side was bruised for a week.
I've had 3 or 4 bad falls where I've just gotten
Yeah, he's
tripped
got
up.
cuts on his head.
I just like tripped up, over a rock or a root, and it just catches your shoe, and
Yep.
you just go
Go
forward.
down.
You go down, and it's only by the grace of God, I think, that my hike isn't ended because there were a couple of times that my face planted right on the ground.
Yeah.
Another time I went over an embankment.
Then hit a
and
log.
They hit a log that stopped me. I'm like, and I get up and I'm fine. And I look, I'm like, gee, if there'd have been a rock right there,
Yeah.
it could have been over.
I've fallen multiple times and landed on my ankle in a way that it's like, how is my ankle not broken? Like your whole body weight goes down on it, plus your pack weight, and it hurts, and it's that stinging when you fall on it. It's like, oh my God, I just broke my ankle. And then you're like, no, it's not broken. No, I can actually stand up on it. No, I can actually still walk. Like, how did that happen?
Exactly.
It is amazing because it's not like having a trip in your backyard or around the house. Yeah, like you pointed out, you've got maybe depending on where you're at with your supplies, maybe 20 pounds. If you got a full supply of water and food, you could be over 20 pounds of gear on your back.
Yeah. Mine's typically between 25 and 30, but I'm also carrying extra stuff for my dog.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So once you start going, I've been there, right? Once you start going, the weight of that pack, it's taking you.
Boom. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You've been on trail long enough now where you've been able to get off trail and enjoy some of the in-town amenities. Anything special? Any special experiences in town so far?
Three Little Pigs in Daleville.
We've been there twice already.
It's a good barbecue spot. You can't be missed.
Yeah, we definitely like Three Little Pigs. This is my favorite place so far. I have my top two hostels that I've stayed would be, well, okay, I gotta go with three. And this isn't towns, but first, around the bend in Georgia, Lisa and Gordon, the amenities that they provide for the through hikers, like they have massage guns and heated foot massagers and everything that, like Epsom salt baths, like everything that you need to feel pampered as a hiker. Plus they shuttle you every day for free. Like they run shuttles every single day to go to the outfitters, to go to resupply, to do whatever it is that you need. So you don't have to like pay extra for shuttles. So that set me up for like, no hostel's going to compare to this. But then we met up Easter Sunday. We didn't start hiking together because I was still technically ahead of him on the trail. Right. But we were there at the same time as Mountain Harbor at 19E. Oh my God. The breakfast is amazing. It's like Paula Deen, Southern cooking, butter saturated everything with like egg souffle and cheesy potato hash browns and tomato pie. And it's amazing. I'm dreaming about that breakfast every morning. I'm in my tent and I'm like, where's my egg souffle? It's so bad.
Yeah, that is a great place.
Yes. And then Woods Hole.
Woods Hole was really cool.
Woods Hole was amazing. Yeah. Everything organic. Like the kitchen is lined with ball jars with handmade labels of every like herb and spice under the sun grown in her garden. And she makes everything fresh. So I actually packed out fresh baked bread and goat cheese from Woods Hole because it was so good. Wow.
For myself, I got a chance to stay Lodge of Legends. It's donation based in Gatlinburg. She's a wonderful woman. And it's like I said, donation based. She does it kind of like a ministry type of thing. And the whole basement is basically yours.
Yeah.
And she's got a pool table down there. I had a king size bed. I happened to have this thing hold myself one night. Yeah. And I was like, I got to take a zero here. How can I not take a zero? So that one, that's immaculate.
Did you really experience Gatlinburg while you were there? Or you hang out in the hostel?
No, I was in Gatlinburg as well.
Okay. See, I lived in Gatlinburg for a little while, so like I've done the whole Gatlinburg thing. Yeah. He didn't see real Gatlinburg; he only saw the touristy strip. So I have to go back and show him real Gatlinburg.
Exactly. I'd like to see real Gatlinburg. So.
As far as towns, I would love to go back to Damascus next year for Trail Days. We're not doing it this year because we don't want to mess up our hike. But I really want to like bike the Virginia Creeper and just experience the town a little bit more because it seemed like a really cool town.
Yeah, I'm making up a list of places I want to go back to. Like in Hot Springs, I stayed at the Laurel Heart Hostel and the Laughing Heart Hostel and the Laughing Heart Lodge. I was in the lodge one night, happened to get in there, private room in there. And I've platinum blazed a few spots and I don't mind admitting that and saying that. So anyway, it's just a place I would love to go back to the lodge itself. So I've got like a list of places. I'm going back here, and here. Yeah. And the Virginia Creeper Trail was one of them. I just like, man, what a beautiful trail.
Yeah. It was gorgeous.
It'd be great to bike.
My experience is when you walk through a place, you really get to experience it. That's when you really get to enjoy it. And you drive through a place, you can say, oh, there's some nice buildings here. You maybe stop for a meal. The people are really nice. But when you walk through a place and spend even a day there, that's when you really learn about the people and the area.
And in Damascus, that was one of the things, like as soon as I walked into the town, I mean, obviously they're hiker friendly, right? I mean, it's Trail
Right.
Town, USA, but like everyone was like, "Oh, you're a through hiker. Congratulations on making it to Virginia. Good luck on the rest of your hike." Like it was just so
Yeah.
warm and welcoming. I loved it.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. To me, that's, because Stan, you mentioned platinum hiking. And for people that don't know, that's if you decide to spend money in off trail accommodations. I guess the inside joke among hikers is that you're platinum blazing. But you know what? To me, that's part of the experience. I mean, we all have different things we're looking for from our hikes. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I enjoy those times when I get off the trail and stay somewhere and doing a little slack packing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I just spent 3 or 4 nights in my tent, a B&B is a welcome luxury, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And some people are okay with that. Some people are okay staying in their tent for the whole thing. I wouldn't be one of them. I'll admit it. I have no shame in saying it. But again, might sound like a cliche, but you hike your own hike. You hike a hike that is enjoyable to you.
Right.
Yeah.
What we've been saying is, if you want to hike this trail forwards, backwards, inside out, platinum blaze, stay in your tent, you want to take, you want to hike 36 miles, then take 3 000s, you want to hike 12 miles a day, like whatever, hike your own hike. Just do it honestly, do it with integrity.
Yeah.
The one thing that bothers us is we see people out here skipping miles and then lying about it. They get picked up at road intersection A and then drop back off at road intersection B, and the shuttle driver messed up and I missed those 15 miles. And stuff
Yeah.
that's just it's not any less of what you're doing. You still hiked, okay, you're mile 600, you still hiked 475 miles, or 575 miles of those 600 miles. Like, just be honest about it.
Yeah, like if you want to aqua blaze, yellow blaze, whatever you do, that's okay. Just be honest, do it with integrity,
Right.
and say, hey, I aqua blaze this, or I
Like-
yellow blaze this.
Like, there's one person we know on the trail who there is part of the AT that you can miss by doing the Virginia Creeper instead. And there's a cafe in that section on the Creeper. And she needed to work that afternoon. So her option was stay in Damascus and take a 0 because I need Wi-Fi at 2:00 this afternoon for a Zoom call. Or I can hike out of Damascus, take the Creeper Trail, stop at this cafe, do my Zoom, get back on the AT, but I missed a section of the AT. And she admits it. And she's like, this is what I did and why I did it. Like, okay, cool. Like, you blue blaze, but you did it with integrity.
Exactly.
I think the hiking community in general is a very understanding, forgiving, and for the most part, from what I've seen in my experience, non-judgmental. And as you said, just own it. Yeah, I skipped 10 miles there. I wasn't able to do that section for one reason or another.
Yeah, I don't judge till you're posting on social media that you did a through hike, but you skipped 100 miles.
Yeah,
and you're lying about it.
You're lying about it. That bothers both of us a lot.
Right. Yeah. Now, Stan, as you move further north, any plans to meet up with any family members or friends as you get closer to New York?
Oh yeah, absolutely. My daughter just came down and shared McAfee's with us.
Very cool.
That was
Very
really
nice,
fun.
huh?
Yeah, I have another daughter who's going to come down and spend some time, hopefully in Shenandoah. Then when we hit PA, I have a sister up there. Hopefully we're going to, spend some time there and do some trail magic and some other things.
Yeah.
And then when I get up to New York, I've got another daughter up there. The same one's going to come down in Shenandoah. And I have a future son-in-law up there. And I have a lot of friends up there who are, going to come out and do trail magic and such. So, I'm looking forward to that.
I got to imagine it's got to be exciting because I had this conversation with Justin. Justin lives in Baltimore. So when he gets to West Virginia, he has plans. He has family and friends that will be meeting him out there. And he's very excited about it. And I've got to imagine that helps to motivate you a little bit too, especially when you start hitting Pennsylvania. It's like, oh, I'm going to see my daughters or this person or that person soon.
Mine was the opposite. All that's behind me now because I lived in Tennessee and Georgia and North Carolina. So like you
were saying goodbye to everybody.
Well, they were all helping me out through that section. Like I had a friend who lives in Franklin who came and picked me and my family up off the trail. We stayed in one of her friends' rental cabins while we were in Franklin. I had another friend come and do trail magic. He did trail magic with an inflatable couch and a movie screen and projector, and like set up on the roadside. And I slept on the couch that night and fell asleep to a movie on the trail. Like, I had all kinds of people doing stuff for me, and now all of it's behind me. And as I get north, I don't know anyone, so I'm like, I'm glad I'm with Stan because he's got family and friends up here now.
Exactly.
There's a lot of hiking to do, and you're going to meet so many people, especially now you're going into a time of the year where you're going to start meeting more day hikers. And Stan, from the area, we're both from New York. You get up there near New Jersey, Delaware Water Gap into Harriman State Park, you'll start seeing a lot of people out there enjoying the trail and people just doing some really nice things.
Yeah.
So as we're closing up here, just one quick question, because this seems to be a common question among people, is the crowds. Has it been crowded out there at this point?
Oh, it's slimming out.
It's starting to thin.
People are getting off.
As you work your way north, it's like, oh, this person's off trail, oh, this person's off trail, and you start seeing it, which is sad. You've made friends with people and now they're off trail, but it's cool when some of them like still decide to like go along the trail doing trail magic, so you still get to like keep in touch with them. But the weekends, because it's getting warmer and nicer out now, the weekends with day hikers is like, holy cow, like it's a conga line up and down the trail between through hikers, section hikers, and weekends,
especially in the popular
I was in
the trail.
I was in Grayson Highlands on a weekend.
Stan will tell you this: if you get to Harriman State Park on a weekend in June,
forget about it.
We've already been like, we're zeroing.
It's going to look like the escalator at Macy's on Christmas Eve going down from the tower up there.
They were literally like entire Boy Scout troops and their leaders, like 40 kids and like 3 or 4 leaders in between all of them, like passing me on Grayson Highlands, and like big church groups there for their weekend hike and stuff. And I was like, there goes another 40 people by me.
Like crowds were tremendous in the South at the first of the hike. There were, I don't know if you've heard like statistics, but there were 1,000 hikers more registered this year. And it really, when the weather was bad, man, everybody was just rushing to the shelters, and people were zeroing in shelters during the rain. You could not get a spot in a shelter.
I don't like shelters anyway.
But for me, I didn't want to have to set up my tent in the rain and take it down. So I was desperately trying to get to a shelter. But you get to the shelter and you have to set up in the rain and in the mud, and it's disgusting. It's frustrating, demoralizing when you have to do that, especially when you get into your tent and you get the first thing you want to do is get warm. All right. Got into my tent. It just poured down rain and hailed and all that kind of stuff. I get in my tent, get warm, get dry clothes on, and realized I had no water to cook with. And I'm like, I can't go back out there and dry my only set of dry clothes today. So I had to take my clothes
we must be cut from the same cloth, because if I can avoid setting up my tent in the rain, I'm in that shelter.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Well, I will say I have actually been very blessed that every day that it has been raining while I've been hiking, when it came time to set up my tent, there has been either a break in the rain or it has actually stopped. So I have not had to actually set my tent up in rain.
Okay.
I've had to.
You're better than I am, because if there's rain in the forecast, I'm looking to stay in the shelter.
Exactly. Me too. I'm like, get there as fast as I can.
Now, regarding crowds, one thing I will say is we are at the front end of the Nobo bubble, but hostels are full. I have seen a lot of people get turned away from hostels, or like we even had to camp. We couldn't bunk or anything. And because I have a private room, because I have a dog, a lot of times I have to get a private room. They won't let me in the bunkhouse. So I've had a little bit of difficulty getting lodging a couple of times, but I've been able to find something every time. But there's been a little bit of struggle there. So that definitely part of the crowd bubble thing.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, guys, we're starting to run out of time here on this, but Tonya, you have a YouTube channel, and we're going to make sure we put a link to your YouTube channel in our description for the podcast. Want to just give us a shout out for the name of it?
Traveling with Tonya.
Okay. And Stan?
Traveling. Stan the Man Hikes. Still.
There'll be a description. It'll be a link in the description for everybody. So make
Thank
sure you
you.
check out their YouTube channel. Stan, you're doing a great job. I'm loving your videos. Keep up
Thank
the
you.
good work. I'm hoping to have you guys back on at some time for an update.
Yep.
And
Yeah. Good.
guys, stay healthy and keep up
Thank
the
you.
good work. And thanks for giving up your time.